Welcome back to the Convo Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula, along with Johnny Tsunami on the ones and twos. So we have a little bit of a breaking news, not so much breaking, but we were able to connect the dots. Kamala Harris has now had her second fundraiser with donors who have questionable ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Once again, Kamala Harris has now had her second fundraiser with donors who have questionable ties to Jeffrey Epstein. And we have to really tip our hat off to one of our, what we like to call over here, citizen journalists on our thread, Mr. Max7420. Nope, 740. I'm sorry. It was 2 hours ago. Max740. Hey, I wonder if the Patrikoffs who hosted this Harris fundraiser are related to the Patrikoffs listed in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. Patrikoff, Alan and Susan, New York, New York. It seems like Jamie Patrikoff is one of the sons of Alan and Susan Patrikoff. Also, Alan Patrikoff was Hillary Clinton's national finance chairman for her 2008 run for president. Alan Patrikoff is also a venture capitalist, and his business is a private equity firm. Imagine that. One more thing. AP are the initials that occur in Epstein's Lolita Express flight logs, especially on the flights that Bill Clinton was on. So, we want to thank you, Max740, for pointing that out. Now, we didn't bring up the flight logs because we don't know if it's an AP or an AD. We didn't want to be questionable on that, But we first must look at who the Patrikoffs are. In Graycroft.com, we have a little article over here, and it talks about who Alan Patrikoff is. And just to get an an idea of how much money this guy had, he was the co-funder and managing director for New York, the Graycroft. And you can see down below, he was one of the world's leading private equity firms with $41 billion under management. That's $41 billion with a B. Also, if you look at the next article we have up over here, it talks about his relationships with our good friend Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. And it says, oh man, Politico gave me the ad, but I got it. Longtime Hillary Clinton friend and bundler, Alan Patrikoff, who sat out the 2012 presidential race, will host President Barack Obama at his Manhattan home for a Democratic National Committee fundraiser to help strengthen the party ahead of a possible Clinton run. So you can see Alan Patrikoff is a big donor. He has a directing firm, a equity firm, $41 million in it. He's got a lot of money, and his son just hosted an event with Kamala Harris out in the Hamptons. Only one big problem. Alan Patrikoff is in Epstein's Black Book. Now, once again, this is a questionable tie. You can see it right here. Patrikoff, Alan and Susan in New York. That's Epstein's Black Book. Now, once again, we want to say this. It doesn't make you necessarily guilty as sin for being in the Black Book, but it does raise some serious questions. Okay? Now, Patrikoff's son, who hosted the event in the Hamptons, is a movie executive, and he threw the fundraiser for Kamala Harris. Now, let me just set the scene what it's like in East Hampton. I've been out to East Hampton before. It's a little crazy. But Teslas and Maseratis lined the streets as Kamala Harris greeted guests, sipping drinks from plastic cups with her name on them and eating cinnamon sugar donuts from Dresden's at a fundraiser hosted by movie executive Jamie Patrikoff and his wife Kelly as the summer of the Democratic fundraisers rolled on in East Hampton. Johnny, I believe you also pulled something up that there's going to be a lot of other people rolling through the Hamptons in the next couple weeks. Correct?
Yes.
Well, check your mic. Can you hear Johnny, everybody out there?
Yeah. Here we go.
Good.
Okay. Yes, in the same article, it also mentions that in the same article that, talks about the Teslas and Maseratis, it also says that she's not alone. Harris's event Sunday night went head-to-head with a musician with John Bon Jovi's House for Cory Booker. Buttigieg will be in the Hamptons over Labor Day weekend. Joe Biden will be in the Hamptons next weekend. He's already hit up Cape Cod, Aspen, and Sun Valley, Idaho. So I just wanted to make sure that the peeps knew about all those Dem candidates.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to Johnny, I'm like, hey, that's business as usual. Martha's Vineyard, Hamptons, they're out there. That's that club, baby, and you ain't in it. George Carlin, we love you. And now it's questionable. Once again, this is the second time she's done it, but let's also point out that Mr. Jamie Patricoff, who was in the movie business, also did business with one Harvey Weinstein. And you can see it right down there below. Johnny, can you read that? Because I can't see it. I don't have it pulled up.
It says, in years prior, Patricoff teamed up with the Weinstein Company to produce Tim Burton's Big Eyes, starring Amy Adams and Christopher Waltz.
Okay. So isn't that questionable enough that Kamala Harris should say, you know what, I really don't want to do business with Mr. Patricoff? He has enough ties. He's done business with Harvey Weinstein. We know his parents are linked in to Epstein's Black Book, which is public knowledge. It doesn't stop her from going out to the Hamptons and asking for money from these people. And these people are sick. Because you know what Jamie Patricoff's net worth is worth?
What? How much?
$17 million. Okay? These people have so much money. Once again, I say this again. The homelessness problem doesn't exist because we can't satisfy the poor. The homelessness problem exists because we can't satisfy the rich. These people have so much money. His father, Alan Patricoff, was known to have big sculptures in his backyard worth millions of dollars. You know, one of those sculptures and a little fun in the Hamptons can feed hundreds and hundreds of people. You know, how many people? It's disgusting. And they're in Epstein's Black Book. Kamala has a history of flip-flopping too as well. Okay? Here she is on The View, and she's stating how it's disgusting to do business with a person like Jeffrey Epstein, who should be behind bars for a long, long time.
And that's part of the nature of these cases. Mm-hmm. It's the nature of these cases. And so any prosecutor worth their salt, especially one who understands the nature of these cases, which any prosecutor should if they're taking the case on, knows that this is the exact kind of case that is typical of somebody who's preyed on children. And that case should go before a jury, and that person should go to prison for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay. But that didn't stop her from doing business.
Wait. She was talking about Epstein there?
Yeah, she was talking about Epstein because they were talking about the Acosta case. She was talking about Epstein, that he should have realized that, and it was a mistake what he did. That person should go to business, go to jail for a long, long time. It's just suspicious. And I really want to hear what you guys think out there, ladies and gentlemen. Please, give us your opinions. We're going to look at the thread. Leave your comments below. What does it mean to be in Epstein's Black Book? Is it where there's smoke, there's fire? Does it mean you're a business friend? If not a business friend, a regular friend, which I would rather be a business friend than a regular friend of Jeffrey Epstein. I'd rather be nowhere near the man. But once again, when Kamala Harris said this, it didn't stop her from doing business. Take a look at this article we have. You pulled up something other than the New York Post, right?
Right.
Can I read from the New York Post? Because they did quote the Associated Press report. It says presidential Kamala Harris ripped a law firm's work.
So this is the first time she did this.
This is the first time on a controversial plea deal involving deep-pocketed pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The same day she took money from some of its attorneys at a fundraiser. Harris had no problem allowing 6 partners from the firm Kirkland and Ellis help raise dough for her campaign last week by hosting the Chicago event, which even featured her husband, lawyer Douglas Emhoff, the Associated Press reported.
Boom.
So here she is. She's talking about how disgusting it is. Once again, Johnny, I said, this is the worst candidate on that stage.
But she's like the fakest person on there. Would she be the fakest person there? Or is Joe Biden up in there? Who's the fakest? Who's the fakest Democratic candidate, fams?
Let us know who you think the fakest candidate is. So once again, the breaking news: Kamala Harris has had her second fundraiser with donors who have questionable ties to Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to do that at my Rick Sanchez voice. Breaking news: Kamala Harris has a second fundraiser with donors who have questionable ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Thank you for watching the Convo Couch. I am Pasta Jardula. That's Johnny Tsunami. We'll see you soon. And Convo out.
Wait, are we really cutting it? Are we really cutting it? Are we cutting it?
I'm doing my Nardwar. Cut the goddamn thing.